So Helder, thank you so much for giving us such a wonderful example to start our conference with. The first question we've got here is this: what's hard about 2020 is not being able to see friends and family in person. Virtual contact just isn't the same. How can Jesus meet this need any better? So maybe that's the kind of question someone might ask if you were giving that talk in person or obviously in an evangelistic context.
Sure. Well, I think what is important for us to recognize is that the needs have not changed. It may be highlighted, but they have not changed. And therefore, the pandemic, I think, brings to us the opportunity of addressing that. We ourselves may be struggling with that, but it gives us the chance to tap on that, even though virtually, and with other initiatives such as the one we have just seen. So I think it's a time for us to pray. God, give us creativity. God, give us wisdom. I had a friend. He's from Brazil, and in this time he wanted to do something for his city. So he decided to write very poetic evangelistic material, and with wearing his masks, he went out where he could find people. And he was giving it out to people. He said, I've written this for you at this time. And we were sharing, he was saying, it's true, we are mainly virtually communicating, but yet in many ways, you can still meet people and they need this sort of approach. And more than ever, it will show how we are going beyond giving, another step in various initiatives. I think we can try with our friends, families, and even people we don't know. Virtually, yes, but there are other ways, I think, being with the right precaution, that we can demonstrate and share the love of Jesus in such a difficult season.
Brilliant. One of the things about FEUER is that we're hearing each other's ideas, and I think the Holy Spirit really uses that. What a brilliant example. Please send greetings to your friend in Brazil, Heather. Well, we've got another question.
And you are right. Sorry, if I may just say, as you say, this sharing of ideas, I was talking to my wife and we said, why don't we do something for the elderly of our town? I mean, we are experiencing a lockdown now in Spain, so we cannot leave our towns or cities. But yet, many older people are in the squares. So we were talking, why don't we have our children going out and giving something, a bag of something, wearing the masks. But anyway, so as you were saying, just this friend made me think and you make somebody else think. So this is great about what we are doing here, exchanging ideas. Yeah.
Amen. Amen. Yeah, thank you. Well, here's another question, again written as though someone doesn't know Jesus. It's a brilliant question. How can you love Jesus? He's a historical figure, and it seems stupid to worship someone who is dead.
Well, thank you for this important question. It is true that Jesus is a historical figure who lived 2,000 years ago in the Middle East, as I said in my address. But as I also was saying in my address, that's not at all the whole story. Actually, the climax of Jesus' story is the fact that after living 33 years, he died, but he rose again. Now, I don't know your opinion about it, but the resurrection of Jesus is the main pillar, the foundation to all of us who say we have a loving relationship with him. Now, we don't have time for that, but there are several historical evidences given to us in the second part of the Bible, which we call New Testament, for instance, documents written very close to Jesus' resurrection that tells us about many people who saw Jesus resurrected. We can think of the fact, as I mentioned briefly in my address, that thousands upon thousands of people began experiencing a conversion in their lives because of his resurrection, and etc. and etc. There was an important leader in the beginning of the church called Paul, and he said, if Jesus has not raised from the dead, then our faith is in vain. So what we as followers of Jesus attest is that actually he is the center of reality. Reality is in him, and he is alive, and we can, even more than with others, enjoy, benefit from a personal relationship with him. He is alive, and that makes all the difference.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I've pushed this question to the top because this is more asking about how you prepared the talk, which I think is really helpful to focus on. And the question says, there is so much to say about love. How did you decide what to share? What helped shape your arguments? And what did you think was most important to communicate?
Thank you very much for such an important question, which reminds me of different levels of stress and nervousness that I felt in the last few weeks as I prepared specifically for this talk, because indeed there is so much we can say. So if I can summarize my process, was once I received from the organizers the title of the talk, I of course began reflecting and praying about it. But mainly in the last 2 weeks, I brought something that I think illustrates how I tend to prepare my talks or sermons. And I think I begin in a very general way. So 2 weeks ago, I'm praying and I'm listening to guys I like to listen to, who communicate well with non-Christians. What have they said about love? I keep something called Evernote. I highly recommend it. Evernote is a software where you can keep anything you want. So I keep quotes, things I see, songs, and I tag them. So at the beginning of this process, I'm trying to be exposed to various general things in light of the purpose of the talk and my audience. Of course, we can talk, years about love, but in light of that, I begin this general process. And for some days, I'm listening, reading, studying, and praying. And then I try to begin focusing. I have a file that I prepare for my talk where I have several headlines. One is ideas, the other is quotes, the other is illustrations. And so I just write down everything that I think I may use, and I organize this file with a bunch of possible ideas. And meanwhile, and this for me is crucial in the preparation of talk, I'm praying and considering how I can structure, focus what I want to communicate. And in this case, it was important to me, because of what we are trying to do, to communicate Jesus' ethic of love in such a way that caused curiosity and generated interest in our audience. And because I wanted to connect with non-Christians, I started in levels which I thought could be more easily accepted and celebrated. And to a postmodern audience or post-secular, talking about reality, personal experiences, it works, makes a lot of sense. So I was thinking, how can I build bridges from the beginning? So that's why I was talking about love is important to us. That's why I begin by Jesus saying love is real. I didn't begin with God. We learn a lot about that with Paul, for instance. And we connect and we confront. We connect and we confront. So trying to connect from the beginning. So I try to build my argument in that way, showing how Jesus' ethic of love is so unique. And throughout the talk, trying hopefully to make people, wow, that's necessary, that's important, that's interesting, I want that. And also seeing the talk not only as an end in itself, though we hope, of course, people will make a decision for Jesus right there, but understanding that our talks may serve as a process, as a chain in the process. And I really wanted, by God's grace, that this talk may serve as something that for various students, they may say, oh, let me keep on reading. Let me keep on exploring. Let me ask a friend. And maybe I was in -8. This talk has pushed me to -5 or to -3. And all of that for me is important as I consider my talk. And finally, I wrote it down to think of the words. Of course, English is my third language, so I have this funny accent, and I, in my case, I wanted to make sure as well I knew which words I wanted to use. Though I speak in English in different contexts, it's not the same as, of course, in your natural language. So I do that as well. I write down the whole thing. I try to always, in the whole process, be thinking, how would this be heard by a non-Christian friend? You know, trying to always picture, I have this friend, how would he listen to? What would he say? And this is also important. Sorry, I'm perhaps replying too long, but always have this.
This is brilliant.
I want to bring something, and then I want to anticipate an argument. So if I say this, and you heard me say sometimes, now you may be thinking God, but God is. So I brought this apologetic sidebar to say, you know, many philosophers in our days are saying God has never disappeared. The theories of secularization were wrong. So anyway, those are arguments that I always try to be intentional about. And one of the sections in my draft was, apologetic arguments. What will I want to say, knowing that some rocks will be in the hearts of my listeners? So we want to anticipate those rocks and say, how can I remove some of those rocks so that the seed of the word may be planted? And that for me is very important also in the process.
Helder, that was gold dust, wasn't it? It's so helpful just hearing how you went about that. I love that idea of connecting and confronting. That was so helpful. I remember once asking someone that I said, how long does it take to prepare an evangelistic talk? And they said it takes a lifetime, because actually we're all the time gleaning ideas and thoughts on these different themes, like a theme like love, which we can then bring together as we try and present a talk. So thank you for giving us such a wonderful example of that. There are lots more questions. Unfortunately, we're going to have to move on because we've got more to come. But thank you for your engagement, for your questions. And hopefully that's given you a little bit of an indication about how that kind of talk got put together.